the Beatles have been an influence in my life ever since I was 5 years old. Shoot. I remember I had that their the first record album, that they had in America. I think it was called Meet the Beatles, I think. I had that record, man. Holy. Geez, today those records are worth a lot of money, yeah, these original printings. But when you're 5 years old, you don't know that. So I had that record, yeah. Oh man, I wished I never would have gotten rid of that record. Gosh, gosh, gosh. Yeah, there was a time in my life, in my how old was I? Maybe in my upper 20s, yeah, when I was like 27 years old or something like that. I had 400 record albums, yeah, all that I was collecting throughout my childhood up until I was 27. And I went through a period where I said to myself, this doesn't really mean anything. Yeah. And I took it out to a garbage area and I set it all on fire. That is probably one of the stupidest things I ever did in my life. All those record albums, yeah? Oh my God. Jeez, I can't believe I did that. That's so stupid. But at that time I was so gung ho, I was so gung ho in a spirituality that I felt, that these kind of things are not important, that these kind of things do not matter, and I can't believe I did that. Yeah, jeez, that's a lot of record albums. And some and I think it was about 5 years later is when I started to come back to my senses, and I started to think, oh, what did I do? It's so stupid of me, yeah, to burn all those record albums. Oh my gosh. And after that, I started to dream about them, yeah, in my dreams, yeah. I would go into some kind of a record store or a used secondhand store, and then I would see my records there, yeah. And I will say, in the dream, I'll say, "Oh, there's my records. Oh, they're all here. I'm gonna buy them back." And oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that. Yeah, that's so stupid. Ay, 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 ay. But see, what I was talking about earlier, when you're extreme, see, when you go extreme in a belief system, or you know, or anything, it develops into an addiction. Yeah, it's an addictive thought process, and then you end up doing things um, that are actually not good for you, because you're looking at life in such a way that you only see two perspectives, this and that. Yeah, and this is where you will get into problems. This is where you will run into to unnecessary stress. Yeah, unnecessary um, decisions. Yeah, you'll end up making unnecessary decisions, and you just are gonna do things that you will regret later. So um, that's why I know this really good. Yeah, I know this really good concerning uh, living in extreme circumstances, because I have done it too. Yeah, I have done it too. At that time, I was involved in a certain religion, and I went gung ho. Yeah, I went like, okay, if this is gonna be my belief system, then I want to know everything about it. I want to know every little aspect, even the background information. Where did this religion begin? How did this begin? What were the circumstances of the time when this religion began? I wanted to know every little thing about this religion because I loved it. I loved it with all of my heart, might, mind, and soul. And so I really went strong, yeah, very strong. But it got to the point where I was extremely judgmental. That I would say, okay, well, this doesn't live up to what I believe in, so it's not good. See, I was thinking in a dualistic way. That's why I was explaining what that is, this duality. Yeah. So I was very, very extreme about it. That every little thing in my life was founded upon, or I should say, every little decision that I made in my life was based on these religious beliefs, and I practically became the religion. Yeah, and I was an expert in it. I knew that religion inside and out, and I became involved in its priesthood. Yeah, and I really climbed the priesthood ladder in this religion. Now I was way up there, and so I was very extreme. Yeah, I was really extreme in everything that I believed in. I was extreme. Now some people might say, but that just shows your dedication. Well, um, yes and no. Yeah. No, being that it eroded its way into everything in my life, even to how I wash dishes. I was so extreme about that. Yeah, even about washing dishes, even about my hair, my clothes, my everything. It was so so uptight, really. Yeah, but I was at that time, I was thinking, well, this is my religion now, and so this is how I'm going to be. And in this religion, you cannot eat certain foods and you cannot drink certain drinks. So I followed that. And I really, really got extreme in this. Every rule that this religion had, I followed that rule very, very, very um, diligently. Yeah, very strongly. And it just got to a point where I thought I was happy. Yeah, I thought I was happy. But now, today, when I look back on it, I can really see that I didn't really know what happiness was. Yeah, at that time in my life, I did not, I really did not know what happiness was. I just thought I did because I was looking at everything in just two perspectives, this and that. That's duality. Because when you do that, your tendency is going to be, well, this is since what I like is going to be good, then anything else is bad. See, that's unhealthy thinking because you're judging it. Just because you don't like it, that doesn't mean it's bad. Yeah. But most people who see life in only two perspectives, they will say that. Yeah, they will say this is bad. If they don't like something, they're going to say, "Oh, this is since I disagree with this, then this is evil." Yeah, and I will do what I have to do to stop it, or I change it, or I destroy it, and that is turning into an oppressor. Yeah, that's how you begin to turn into an oppressor. So I was oppressing myself. That's what I was. I was oppressing myself, and I didn't know it at the time. Yeah, I did not know it at the time. And but that's the way it is. Yeah, that in this modern world, it is founded upon duality. So everybody, mostly everybody, has that tendency. Yeah, to see everything as having two components. That's my Fanta lemon pop. If you heard the sound, that's my Fanta lemon. Anyway, um, so yeah, that's how I was in my late 20s. Yeah, in my late 20s to probably when I was 30, 36 years old. That's when I started to realize I was dualistic really strongly, and then I understood more things. But let me not jump around here, and let me stay on topic here. But like I said, today lots of people are this way. They only see things in two ways, this and that. Yeah, one of my students wrote something pretty good a couple years ago, and I want to read that. Yeah, and I'm gonna. There's an interesting comment to this. Okay, I'm doing this to teach. Okay, so try to see this in a learning perspective. Okay, my student wrote this in Lakota. It says, "Doha daku hunkeshnis e unkit hawalila tayans lo unyapi hecha lila wastekte. Chihan daku was akes e unkit hawa e jelas lo unyapi ksto." Now that you can. Those of you who speak Lakota, this is a woman talking because it uses the word ksto. Yeah, that's the way women end their sentences. So, but this is a female student of mine. Now, this is what this means. What this means is it's good to know what our weaknesses are because only in this way will we know what our strengths are. It's good to have both strengths and weaknesses because both are guides to help us live healthy lives spiritually and emotionally. If we do not know our weaknesses, then how will we know our strengths? This is the Lakota way of seeing things. Okay? So, in the Lakota way, let me say it again. In the Lakota ancient way, both weaknesses and strengths are important. They're both important because from weaknesses you learn. Yeah, you learn about things, and from strengths you have like confidence. You have the bravery to do things, but you need to embrace your weaknesses before you can really be brave. Do you see what I mean? You cannot be brave until you find value in your weaknesses. This is the Lakota way. Now, there's a Lakota guy, he's older than me, and he made a comment to this article, and he said, I have absolutely no weaknesses, he said. And that, my friends, is not the Lakota way. And this guy's Lakota. He's full blood Lakota. But this is what he said. I have absolutely no weaknesses. He said, Ata mahungeshni. That's what that means. And that's not the Lakota way. See, what this means is, I'll say it again, it means I have absolutely no weaknesses. Anybody who says that is sick in the head. Because it's human to have weaknesses. We all have weaknesses. But in the dualistic world, people want to say that those are bad. So in dualistic religions, when people pray, they say, oh God, please help me to identify my weaknesses so that I may turn them into strength. And this is what's the word? It is self-oppression. You're oppressing yourself. You are an oppressor, and you're also a victim at the same time. You are abusing yourself when you say you have no weaknesses. So this is so typical of today's Lakota people. Today's Lakota people are incredibly Christian influenced because of what I said earlier with this Christian brainwashing experience and boarding school experience that happened. It really changed the way Indian people think. So now we do not think like our ancestors. Now instead, we think like everybody else today in this modern dualistic world. So Lakota people today, they'll say, "I don't have weaknesses. Weakness is not good." That's what they say. Yeah, they say weaknesses are not good. Therefore, I don't have any, and that's just wrong. Okay, that is really, really wrong. In our ancient way, if you felt that you have no weakness, then you are a danger to the people. How do you think that'll happen? If you say that you have no weaknesses, how is it that you will be a danger to your people? When you say you have no weaknesses, you're on the road to overconfidence. And when you're overconfident, you will make foolish mistakes. And those foolish mistakes can affect other people in a very bad way. Like say, let's just use an example, okay? Let's say we have let's try to picture our, let's go back 5,000 years ago, okay? Let's imagine what is life on the northern plains like 5,000 years ago. Well, there's no horses, yeah, because horses came with the Spanish conquistadors in uh, what 1300s, maybe 1200s. That's like what not even 1,000 years ago. Okay, that's like not even 1,000 years ago. I'm talking about 5,000 years ago. 5,000 years ago, there were no horses in North or South America. Okay, there were no horses. So when people hunt, it's very difficult. Yeah, it's very very difficult because you have to be extremely fast. You have to have a good aim. You have to really know how to bring an animal down, and it's very very difficult. Yeah, when all you're dealing with is bow and arrows and spears, you have to be pretty damn skillful to be able to bring one down. Yeah. But if you want to eat, if you want your people to live, you have to get good. Yeah? You have to get good at that. So let's imagine in the Lakota camp 5,000 years ago, there's one guy walking around saying, I have no weaknesses. I'm not scared of anything. Yeah. My fears do not control me because I have no fear. I'm not afraid of anything. Therefore, I will lead this hunt. So now he's overconfident. When you are overconfident, you do not see the fullness of reality because you're dualistic. When you're overconfident, you're saying to yourself, I have no weakness, which means you only find value in strengths. And that means you only see the world as this and that. That's duality. Yeah, duality and overconfidence go hand in hand. So this leader he's not gonna see everything. Okay, he's not going to see everything, and he's going to make a mistake. So let's say they go on this hunt and they find a buffalo herd and they set a trap for it and surround it. Yeah, selecting only what they're going to need. But the guy is so confident, he does not see that there's another group of Indians on the same path. He's looking only for buffalo tracks, and he fails to pick up that there are tracks of another tribe nearby. So when they get to the location, suddenly they realize they're surrounded by an enemy tribe of Indians. And now a battle commences. Now they're trapped. They're surrounded by the enemy. And let's say most of them get killed. Yeah. Then the enemy leaves, and the enemy also takes the buffalo. So now the few warriors who are still alive, they somehow manage to crawl back home, and they have to tell the people, we were attacked by the enemy and we lost all the buffalo. All because this guy said he has no weaknesses. And now this camp is facing starvation. And they lost a lot of their hunters in this battle with the enemy. How are they supposed to survive? They still can, but it got more difficult. Now the situation is incredibly difficult. Yeah, it's still possible to survive, but going to be incredibly more difficult than it was before. The women are going to have to learn how to hunt, and they're going to have to learn how to go to war. And this happened. Yeah, what I described to you, this happened. Among the Lakota group that I come from, there used to be two women warrior societies. They were not lesbians, okay? A lot of people assume they were lesbian. No, they were not lesbians. They were mothers. They were daughters. There was a certain time period when the men got into a very, very serious battle with the Crows, and in this group, most of the men were killed because they were caught off guard. Yeah? Most of the men were killed because they were caught off guard. Somebody made a mistake. It was probably a man that said he had no weaknesses. The result was the women now had to step up. If their families were going to survive, the women now had to step up. And that's what they did. Yeah. So the women formed two different warrior societies. They organized themselves, and the men that were still there taught them how to go battle and also how to hunt. So for many years in this Lakota group, it was the women who were hunting because that's all there was. Yeah, it took many years for men to catch up again. Yeah, for the boys to grow up and learn how to hunt and just think about that. They were being transformed. They were being taught by the women. These boys were being taught by the women how to hunt, how to how to do all these things until it reached a balance again. Yeah, between a balance between men and women again. But we had two women's warrior societies. They had to do what they had to do to survive. This is why in Lakota society, we're not matriarchal and we're not patriarchal. We're something different. But again, today, most native people are dualistic. So today you have some people saying that we were matriarchal, and then others are arguing and saying, no, we're patriarchal. See, they only see, they don't realize that there's actually a third one because they're dualistic. Yeah. So um, these are the kind of things that happened long time ago. Yeah. So you see, overconfidence will bring down your people. Overconfidence is going to endanger your people. So when a person says, "I have no weaknesses," that's not a man. Or that if a woman says that, That's not a woman. That's a coward. Only a coward would say, I have no weaknesses. It sounds like something Iktomi would say. I was just thinking about the Iktomi stories today. Yeah, Iktomi, when he marries his mother-in-law, and oh man, it's a crazy story. But anyway, that's really true, though. Yeah, a person who says he has no weaknesses, he's being like Iktomi. He's being a fool. And to have Iktomi as your leader, your society is going to fall. It's going to fail. Lots of people are going to die. Yeah. So in the Lakota way, the real Lakota way, you would say that I value my weaknesses because my weaknesses teach me. When you say your weaknesses teach you, then you are not dualistic. Yeah, you see that weaknesses have value. Yeah, it's very important. Weaknesses are valuable. When you can understand that, then you are on the warrior way. A real warrior values his or her weaknesses because those weaknesses teach. And anytime you can learn something, that's a good thing. Even if it's learning how not to do something. But if you say you have no weakness, you are a coward because you're lying to yourself. You're not a warrior. You're a coward, and you're a danger to your people. You're leading your people into disaster, which means you're violating Lakota concepts, and you're even violating the definition of Lakota. You have to be allies with everything inside of you, and that includes your weaknesses. You have to learn what your fears are and know them. Become acquainted with your fears. And then you will start learning from them. And then you will see, hey, these are teachers. They're teaching me. They're not bad. They're teaching me. When you can learn from your fears, you're transforming them into guides. Guides to help you, to guide you through your life. That's a beautiful thing. Yeah? That's a beautiful thing. That's why in Lakota they'll say, Lako wichoncha gilila o techi ke ash, wichoncha gile hena lila tewachila. Yeah, that means the Lakota way is difficult. It is beautiful, and I love it. Yeah, because it teaches you that weakness and fear can be transformed into teaching experiences to help you in your life to become a better mother, father, teacher, hunter, singer, lover. Seriously, not joking. Yeah. So this is important because it's a part of life. And when you say, I have no weakness, you're living in denial. You are not seeing the fullness of reality. You are unable to comprehend the full beauty of reality because you're judging everything that you don't like as bad. And that means you're not learning as much as you should about life. And that means you're focusing only on one emotion and you're going to force yourself to only feel that one emotion. And now you're becoming addicted to it. You're developing an addictive way of thinking. This is the way of a coward. Yeah? This is irresponsibility to yourself and everything around you because you're closing yourself, you're being selective to reality. And anybody you try to lead, you're leading them to danger. So, again, to say that you have no weaknesses is telling everybody you are a fool. You are iktomi. So, this is your choice. Now you have to learn from it. Yeah? Now you have to learn from it. That's the way it is. Yeah? That's the way it is. Oh, hechetuelo. That's the way it is.